Moving Pieces, the new book by the unknown author, Bishop Rodney Hamright and Suterite. The story of the moving pieces in the cosmos, far, far away. Get it today at Amazon or download it Audible in iTunes or listen on Apple Podcasts.
Chapter 1. The Mind Reader's Burden. Moving 1. Lorik strides through the gleaming corridors of the Nexus Conference Center, his long, slender frame making him appear almost isolated amid the throng of diverse species. He passes a cluster of delegates huddled around a holographic display of interstellar treaties, while fragments of unfiltered thoughts, confused, irate, admiring, bombard his mind. He registers each stray idea with cool precision. His silver eyes narrow as he silently corrects a delegate's erroneous claim about hyperspace lanes, a brief, self-assured smirk tugging at his lips. The busy corridor, lined with neon signage and crystalline panels that refract starlight, pulses with the low hum of collective cognition, while Lorik's measured pace contrasts sharply with the chaotic energy swirling around him. Several cloaked figures jostle past, engaged in heated debate, their movements stilted and rigid. One of them slams into his shoulder, and without turning, he feels their irritation mingling with confusion over their next appointment. A pair of avian diplomats, wings tucked in, gestures frantic, throw him hurried glances, barely noticing him before shifting their attention back to an urgent discussion. An overwhelming sense of cacophony pervades, but he strides on, immersed in his internal symphony. Another group, more deliberate in their exchange, surround a radiant hologram. "A grievous affront," an older delegate protests. "Those treaty stipulations were amended over a decade ago." Lorik adjusts his stride, brushing against a brightly robed passerby. The shifting colors of the display scatter prisms of light across his pale features as he listens in. "Council must." "Overreacting," someone interrupts, frustrated and dismissive. "Bureaucratic," another insists. "Wouldn't count on." The tirade weaves in and out of coherency. "Are the supply routes?" "Unsafe, I've heard." A tall woman with silver stripes in her dark hair is quick to contradict. "Secured," she states. "Zilla guaranteed protection on all hyperspace lanes." Her pointed assertion crackles with certainty, resonating in the thoughts around her. Lorik halts briefly, absorbing her claim. A quiet self-assuredness envelops him as he internally corrects the error. An auxiliary lane remains contested near Paris' system. His lips curl into a knowing, private smile before he resumes his stride. Delegates pace the walkway with growing urgency, their interactions charged and dissonant. Colors flash and reflect off starlit panels, creating shifting patterns of light. Snippets of thought flit by, as if seeking purchase amid the throng. In the corner of his mind, Lorik calculates potential outcomes of emerging disputes, probabilities forming with methodical precision. None threaten his focus, not yet. Despite his calm, each step seems to propel him deeper into the tumult. Some of the voices cut through more forcefully, vying for prominence. He walks past a trio in flamboyant ceremonial dress, their wide-brimmed hats bobbing like clumsy avian crowns. "He's the one who," someone notes, recognizing his distinct gait and the shimmering aura of neural patterns that play beneath his translucent skin. The comment spikes with a mix of awe and disdain. Another shoots back, rapid and incredulous. "He's still allowed here?" Lorik absorbs their judgments, measures their irrelevance, and files them away with deliberate nonchalance. A sudden wave of unfiltered noise surges, an amplified barrage of mental and sensory input. Lorik's stooped frame tenses, the strain palpable in the tightened set of his jaw. He clutches the edge of a console, pausing. Even to himself, the action feels uncharacteristically abrupt. He wills his composure to return, filtering the chaos with renewed determination. This time, no one collides with him as he steps forward. Delegates shuffle, propelled by collective urgency and occasional desperation. A pair of figures stop mid-conversation to stare, a glimmer of uneasy recognition flashing between them. Their whispers, hushed yet perceptible, ripple outward as they pass his name down the crowded walkway. The one they call the ghost. Someone breathes, awed and unnerved in equal measure. The appellation holds a wary reverence, acknowledging the combination of intellect and indifference that defines him. The corners of his mouth twitch in acknowledgement as he maneuvers past them with unerring precision, giving their rumors the briefest fraction of his attention. He dismisses it as an ancient metaphor that shows their intellectual simplicity. He quickens his pace, steps falling in sync with the rhythm of calculated thought. The busy corridor, alive with movement, frames him in chaotic motion, its starlit sheen flickering across his fluid silhouette. More delegates swarm toward him, eager and focused, their individual concerns coalescing into a dull roar. He intercepts one as she almost collides with him. "Can't lose another system," she's muttering, head lowered in thought. Lorik shifts just enough to avoid her, not breaking stride, his movement as much about re-establishing control as it is about self-preservation. The low hum of the crowd reverberates, a constant undercurrent to the more immediate and direct assertions surrounding him. Each hurried exchange and garbled interruption seems almost designed to antagonize his relentless pursuit of clarity. Yet he perseveres, each step a quiet statement of resolve. His presence is magnetic. Though he holds no title here, the force of his personality ensures he is impossible to ignore. A young diplomat breaks away from a cluster of humans, eyes wide with agitation. She hesitates, lips parted to speak, before letting the flow of traffic pull her into its currents. The encounter is over before it begins, and Lorik feels the rush of unspoken words dissipate behind him. They are like everything else here, lacking the sharpness to truly connect. The corridor is nearing its terminus, and he surveys the route ahead with calculating ease. Each species' colors and languages form distinct patches in his awareness. None trouble him further. Still, the subtle strain of proximity and exposure plays at the edges of his consciousness, threatening to unsettle the balance he holds so dear. But he retains his discipline, confident and aloof, relying on the steady hum of his own thoughts to drown out the lesser minds. As he emerges into the grand atrium, his pace slows. The crowd disperses into myriad directions, and Lorik finally permits himself to pause. The great halls expand around him, vast and accommodating, yet they seem smaller somehow in the wake of his singular passage. Those he passes turn to watch, fascinated by the bold certainty with which he navigates. It leaves a lasting impression on even the most hurried minds, a complex blend of envy and perplexity, the implications of which will occupy them long after he is out of sight. Moving 2. In a quieter alcove near the conference's central atrium, Lorik's path intersects with Talia, whose gentle presence softens the harsh glare of the sensory overload. Talia steps forward, her silvery hair falling over her delicate features as she places a measured hand on his arm, her touch both reassuring and insistent. She speaks in a calm, formal tone, reminding him, "Lorik, remember the value of safeguarding your own mind amidst all this noise." Her words precise and unembellished. As she steadies him with her gaze and subtle smile, the scene captures Lorik's momentary pause, a rare crack in his rigid demeanor, while the background buzz of overlapping languages and shifting holograms frames a delicate exchange rooted in both duty and familial concern. The constant barrage of thoughts and voices recedes, leaving him momentarily unsteady. Talia's empathy radiates, and he finds himself anchoring to it, allowing her to mitigate the dull throb of overexposure. The subtle warmth of her presence pulls him back from the brink of withdrawal. Her robes bear the traditional Sita symbols, worn and wrinkled from long hours, reflecting her tireless dedication. She peers at him, her concern palpable. "Talia," he replies, his voice tinged with a rare fatigue. He searches her eyes, their iridescent hues mirroring his own uncertainty. I perceive you have not spared yourself amidst your concern for others. A small shift in his tone, almost vulnerable, as if admitting an uncharacteristic need. She smiles softly, a gentle reproach underlying her affection. No one is immune to strain, brother, she responds, her voice carrying the soothing cadence of a healer. Not even the great Lorik Satalis. He straightens, though his usual rigidity remains tempered by her presence. The acknowledgement of his limits is both disconcerting and oddly comforting. Her influence is steadying, her proximity a balm against the mental noise still buzzing at the edges of his consciousness. The delegates appear intent on exhausting themselves and others, he observes, a wry inflection to his words. Much like you, Talia counters, her voice a melodic blend of empathy and exasperation. Her touch lingers on his arm, her patience vast and unwavering. A muted din fills the background, the multitude of conversations now a low hum. Lorik regards her, the customary aloofness softened. An anticipated hazard, he concedes. His silver eyes narrow, then relax. But I manage. Talia's hand falls away as she considers his assertion. She appears poised to press further, but instead lets the statement rest between them, a shared history of gentle contention rendering additional words unnecessary. It is noted how your presence affects the discourse, she comments, careful and knowing. He waves it off, his gesture as much dismissive as it is self-assured. Their inconsistencies are regrettable, though not unexpected. She regards him thoughtfully, catching the undercurrent of dismissal. I find your actions and disregard less compatible with their tolerance. A temporary condition, he responds, offering a trace of his earlier smirk. Yet even as he maintains the facade of detached certainty, Talia's observation nudges at a memory of past transgressions and misunderstandings. Her glance meets his with gentle persistence. And still they allow you back, she remarks, her voice soft yet pointed. The siblings' eyes lock, a mutual recognition passing between them. He considers the implication, nodding slowly, recognizing the quiet truth she suggests. Many are naive, some even tedious. Their thoughts barely merit attention. They're unprepared for someone like you, Talia replies, the words not quite an accusation. She surveys him, noting the strain in his normally fluid movements, the minute hesitations he attempts to conceal. Her silence presses him, subtly demanding that he acknowledge what she already knows. He weighs his next response, words and thoughts aligning with characteristic precision. Preparedness is subjective, he states, the firm authority of his claim marred by a single, unguarded pause. And as ever, I am thorough. A smile plays across her lips, somewhere between indulgent and unconvinced. As ever, she echoes. The repetition holds a familiarity that is more felt than spoken. His mind, though recovering, is still hypersensitive, attuned to the currents and nuances she chooses to reveal or conceal. He senses her awareness of his condition, her unspoken resolve to prevent him from reaching a breaking point. In the echo of her thoughts, he perceives the shadow of his own limits. You misjudge my endurance, he says, though the assertion lacks its usual force. Talia's response is gentle, probing at the heart of his defense. And you your own. For a moment neither speaks. The conference noise, distant but relentless, serves as backdrop to the silence between them. It is the kind of silence that comes only with deep, unshakable kinship. You concern yourself too much, he states at last, a hint of genuine gratitude threading through his deflection. Only as much as I must, she insists. The words are soft but carry a steely resolve, echoing her intent to preserve the bonds and balance that he so easily overlooks. Her eyes catch the shifting light of a nearby hologram, and she glances toward the bustling hall he has just traversed. You aren't alone in this, Lorik. Her implication lands with the precision of an accusation, yet feels more like an embrace. He registers her weariness, the toll her empathy takes, and recognizes the parallels to his own. Her long hours among patients, the emotional toll of constant connectivity, they reflect his challenges but with a distinct warmth that is all her own. He wonders, not for the first time, how two minds so similar could choose such divergent paths. He wonders, too, at the comfort her presence provides, at the unfamiliar but not unpleasant awareness of shared burden. They stand in a pause, held together by more than proximity. The delegates, the disputes, the infinite points of contention fade to insignificance as they continue to speak with and without words. You'll be here the full week? He asks, the question tinged with curiosity and what might almost be hope. For the duration, she assures him, if only to keep an eye on you. And here I thought it was duty, he quips, trying to reclaim the upper hand, though both know he will not. Call it both, she suggests, leaving him with an amused smile and an acknowledgement of their dual obligation, her to him and him to others. She turns back toward the crowds, her steps deliberate, and her form graceful against the multitude. Lorik remains a moment longer, watching her retreat with a mixture of emotions that he allows himself to feel more acutely than ever before. He takes a measured breath and moves to follow, the distance between them not nearly as great as it once seemed.
Moving Pieces, the new book by the unknown author, Bishop Rodney Hamright and Suterite. The story of the moving pieces in the cosmos, far, far away. Get it today at Amazon or download it Audible in iTunes or listen on Apple Podcast.